ChowDownChou or random gaming, depending on what you're
All right,
watching.
welcome to ChowDownChou. This is the only podcast where you can hear the word chow twice in the title. That's always been my tagline. Do you like it?
It's all right. It's all right.
Yeah. Is it even a
Uh-huh.
fun name? I thought it was
I
when
thought
I
it
came
was
up with
cute.
it.
I thought
Right?
it was cute. Yeah. I just thought it was about food.
Well, it's not about food.
Yeah.
I
So
would love to make one about food one day. I just don't know what to talk about. Like, I don't know that much about food. All I know is,
I mean,
to eat.
I just thought it was misleading, but
Okay.
okay.
Okay. My bad. Anyways, Prachi, say hi to everyone.
Hi everyone. Hi mom.
To my mom, probably your mom if she
Oh,
listens to it. Those are my only
yeah.
two listeners in the world. Sucks. No. So yeah, it's just gonna be a conversation. I really don't know. There's no set topic that we wanted to discuss. I wanted this to be kind of sort of like a cultural exchange when I thought of the idea. That's why
Okay.
I recommended to you like a Taiwanese movie, and you would recommend to me an Indian one. We'd watch
Mhm.
it and discuss it. But before we jump into that, I just want to ask how you've been getting through quarantine, what you've been up to, all of that stuff.
So I bake, not well,
Yes.
because I don't follow a recipe. I
Okay.
think recipes are suggestions.
Okay.
Um, and like you can just choose to like play with the flavors, but it just doesn't work out. I've been watching lots of TV.
Yes. Same.
Yeah.
What TV?
Just Netflix. We finished. I finished The Crown. I started watching a show called The Affair, which is really, really good.
Really? What is it
Um,
about?
it's about an affair. So it's like a married couple who has an affair
Mm.
and like how they like deal with it, and it's like very
Okay.
emotionally deep. It's
Okay.
like I like watch it and I'm like
Yes.
emotionally drained for the day.
Okay. It sounds like
Yeah.
they're dragging it out. An affair is like a singular event. They're making a whole show around it.
Yeah, so like it's about
Okay.
like how they meet and then they like meet a
Uh,
couple of times afterwards to, do the dirty, and then like
okay.
his
Yes.
like wife finds out,
Yes.
and then like his kids find out, and then like it's just it's a lot, and it's like it gives me like secondhand embarrassment. Yeah.
How many seasons does it have?
I think five. I don't
That's
remember.
very long. That's way
It's
too long.
very it's very long. I actually might be completely wrong on the seasons. Like I don't know.
Okay. Okay.
But we finished 10 episodes and like we're taking a break. So
Okay. I'm really into like short, limited series because I feel like I don't have the mental capacity to keep up with something that's like more than 2 seasons. So I've been watching a lot of stuff that's like 8 episodes and the whole thing's done. You know what I mean? Like there's a
limited.
couple of those. Yeah. So like
Okay.
I watched this show called Unorthodox. I don't know if you've heard of it.
Mm-mm.
It's a Israeli show actually, talking about what do they call it? Like Orthodox Jews in New York.
On Netflix?
Yeah, on Netflix about this girl who was married off into a Orthodox family and how she escaped because it's like a real controlling society. Like they live in their
Mm-hmm.
own block in New York and
Mm.
they just meet each other. They don't go outside, and she like left to like pursue a career in like music or something like that. Apparently, it's based on a true story. You might
Okay.
like it. Then it's only
Is-
4 episodes, and the whole show's done. So that's
Oh,
you can
okay.
binge it out in like a day. But
That doesn't sound too bad.
I know.
I'll watch it.
And what?
I'll
You
watch
watch
it.
it? Okay, nice. I don't know if it's on Netflix in America though. It should be.
Oh,
Hopefully.
okay. Well, I
Hopefully.
could also just look up Unorthodox on Netflix.
That is
One,
true.
two, three, one, two, three movies.
123movies.com. .net.
Watch watch online for free.
Yeah, and I've been getting into baking as well, and also not well. I've just been
Yeah.
buying those like brownie packets from like Costco and just putting them in the oven, and I still can't do that right.
So that's not baking. That's
Okay,
false.
what is that?
That's not baking. That is like that's like it's like you're saying you made water. Like you didn't. You're just like
Oh, okay.
I heated it up. That's you
Okay.
heated it up, Derek.
How would you know like how much stuff to put in a cake then? Like I would have no idea how much milk and how many eggs would create a good consistency, right?
So you look up the recipe.
Yes.
But see, like my issue is that like I don't like always have all the ingredients on hand.
Okay.
But I want chocolate cake.
Okay.
So like I'll substitute eggs for like something random. And like you're not allowed to do that. But I do it anyway.
How would you substitute eggs? What kind of
Apparently like one egg is like 1/4 teaspoon of oil. Like it's supposed to like
okay.
be
That sounds
equivalent.
real healthy.
Yeah, but like it's not. It's subpar.
Yeah, I made chocolate chip cookies the other day that I thought tasted pretty good.
Okay.
Tasted well. Anyways, I've
not tasted well.
okay. See, I haven't been using English for so long. It's slowly like getting away from me.
So do you just speak Taiwanese? That's the language, right?
There's like Mandarin, which is mostly what I speak, and there's a dialect called Taiwanese.
Can you cut out where I said Taiwanese?
No, that's fine. Like we do speak Taiwanese. I don't think there's anything bad. Plus, it's too much effort to edit these things, so I just kind of anything you say, it's in there.
Oh gosh, now I'm low-key terrified.
Don't be. If there's actually something that's truly embarrassing, I will cut it out.
Okay.
Not that big.
I'll leave it up to your discretion then.
Yeah. What do you think? There's so little bad stuff in the Arjun one. I'm sure he said a lot of insensitive things.
So I listened to the whole thing. And I will tell you that there are multiple parts that if I was your production manager would have.
I know. Yeah, exactly. But I thought, I wanted to give the viewers a true glimpse into what we talk about. So I just decided to throw that in there. And plus, I thought I explained myself pretty well at some of the points that I came off as, insensitive. Anyways.
Just neither of you should run for president or governor
that is not my plan.
Not even city council. Like, don't do it.
Yeah. I have no plans. I do not envy a politician in these times. I feel like they have a really tough job.
That is
anyways true. Yeah, so I just wanted to catch up with what you've been doing in quarantine, and you said you've been really bored. I have been too, so hopefully you can find. Have you developed, besides baking, like any new hobbies? Like, have you been reading? I don't know. You run, okay, nice.
I run.
Yeah. You're not supposed to go out though, right?
Well, like when I was in like SoCal, we lived in this like super small suburb, Simi Valley.
Yes.
I'll throw it out there. But like we have like hills where like I used to go running.
Okay.
But it was nice. The longest run I did was 7 miles, and then I ate 2 Subway sandwiches. 2 for long.
2 for okay.
I was very hungry.
Yeah, so you made it all back, I guess.
Yeah, so like the goal is not to like lose weight.
It's just for fun.
I mean, it would be nice. Like, could I afford to lose 10 pounds, Derek? I could afford to lose 15.
Yeah.
But like, does it really matter? Like,
it doesn't.
I'm not on the market. Like,
it doesn't.
Summertime's over.
Summertime's over. It's about, and you can't go out anyways. People are stuck at home.
Exactly. And sweatpants are very forgiving.
Yeah. So when exactly did you move from SoCal? Like, was it recently?
I think it was last Sunday, actually.
Okay. So it was fairly recent.
Yeah, the 25th. Okay. My mom, we like all drove up here, and then my mom flew out of SFO. Gotcha. So we still have our car here. Okay. So we're gonna ship the car, and then me and my brother fly out on Monday.
Was were things opening up back in LA like about the time when you left? Like, were people out and about
So Simi Valley is a very I want to say like Republican so the demographic is retired police officers and people who believe in Reaganomics.
Yeah, okay. Old people? Is that what you're saying? Okay.
Yeah. And also like just like very white, very wealthy.
So
like the Ronald Reagan Library is there. So like
they never really cared about it?
Like we had like storefronts that were like hugs welcome, masks not required.
Oh, dude.
And how
Oh my God.
I was like, wait, hold on. Like, this isn't an opinion. Like,
I know. That's crazy. Yeah. That is exactly why there's so many cases in America.
How's Taiwan? How's Taiwan handling it?
Oh, I don't know if have you heard any news about how Taiwan has been handling it?
I mean, no? I guess it's good that you guys aren't in the news.
Yeah, right? But we're actually one of the best countries out there that did a fantastic job. Yeah, like if you look at, I don't know, any of the talk show segments that talk about other good countries, like we're always one of them that they list. Like South Korea, New Zealand have been handling it pretty well. Yeah, exactly. So we've been doing a pretty good job. Like when the thing started, like we started mandating everyone wearing masks everywhere, and we had like this whole system where you can only get masked with like your ID to a pharmacy. Like everyone gets a certain amount of masks every week, and
like
we tracked yeah, exactly. And we tracked everyone who came in, all of that stuff. So we did a fantastic job. Like throughout the whole COVID-19 thing, we never shut down like our schools. We never shut down our stores. Like I could have still went to like a movie theater, and now everything's opening back up because there's no new cases. Like no one's coming in, and so everything's back to normal. So it's actually it's a good situation.
So like play devil's advocate here a little bit. Is it maybe a consequence of the population? Like I don't know the population of Taiwan.
Yeah, are you saying because like how
it's
how
like
little people we have?
And easier to manage.
Yeah, it is easier to manage, I bet, than in America. But we still like we don't have that like little.
What is the population? I have no idea.
Let's see, like I want to say 24 million, something like that.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's not like tiny. There's still a good amount of people.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, we just acted really fast. Like we're one of the first people to like alert the WHO about the virus because we're so close to China as well. Like we're literally so close. So we acted fast, and now everything's going well. So.
And probably like experience from like SARS and stuff.
Exactly, experience from SARS, and plus, I think the culture of wearing masks like helps a lot because people are like used to it. So like people just started wearing it. In terms like if I were in Berkeley, little grammatical mistake there. See how I caught it?
Look, I see you.
Exactly. So if I were in Berkeley, I feel like I would be less willing to wear a mask when the whole thing started because no one probably was wearing one. Exactly. Yeah. So see, that helps a lot. And I feel like that would probably also change.
Remembering to like bring your mask. Like sometimes I'll like walk downstairs and be like, oh fudge.
I know.
Like I can't.
Yeah, so it's actually one of the things we had in our family that was really helpful is my mom nailed a couple of those like hooks that you use for like paintings by the door, and we would just hang our masks on it, and it all has our name on it. And when you go out, when you leave the door, you just like it's right by the door, so you literally just take it off the hook and you go out, you come back, you hang it back up. So it's like really useful. I know it's really, really useful so that you don't like forget your mask anywhere. You just hang it at the same spot. Anyways.
It's like, you know, when you like do your check, you're like wallet, phone, keys, mask.
I know, exactly. Yeah. But I feel like I've been going through like how Taiwan is a really good example of this whole COVID-19 dealing with it for like 3 podcasts already. Like everyone's been asking me like how Taiwan's been handling it.
I mean, tout it, bro. You guys are doing great.
I know, exactly. I'm marketing the country real well.
real well. You're the
So,
pride of Taiwan, or so I've heard.
the pride of oh, okay, yeah. Why am I the pride of Taiwan? You want to educate our viewers on it?
So our friend Derek is going to be giving the Haas commencement speech, and he's going to be one of the first Taiwanese Americans to be giving this speech. Truly amazing.
Yep, exactly. Hey, it is a proud moment. I feel like it's
it is,
right?
It is. It's amazing. I'm just kind of salty that you didn't tell us.
No, that was on purpose because I knew the Haas people tell me that they were going to release a video that has me in it. So I thought, you know what? I'm not going to tell anyone, and I'll wait until people actually see the video, and I'll give them the sense of surprise that they deserve, you know?
So, like, how did you keep it in? Like, I have the biggest mouth, and I feel like it's like the whole world would know. Did you tell anyone?
Like, besides my family, no one else. Like one person.
Who?
Maybe.
Who beat me on the friendship spectrum?
Oh, I told Dom. I don't know if you remember him.
I remember Dom. I definitely remember Dom.
Yeah. Anyways,
okay.
I told him.
I forgive you. If Dom is the only person you're told, I can understand why you would tell them.
Yeah. Anyways, so yeah, that's the reason. Well, yeah, that's the only person I told. I haven't told anyone. I wanted them to be surprised. And from what I heard from Arjun, he was fairly surprised. So I think mission accomplished. Surprised. Exactly.
It is. He doesn't show emotion over very many things. And the most excited I've seen him is when you announced your commencement speech.
Really?
And when he got his switch. So that was like.
Oh, when he got a switch. Hey, that's a big deal. It's really hard to get a switch these days. Really, really hard.
He spent like so much time and effort. Like I like think he liked the chase more than he liked the switch.
Yeah, so he told me how he was it was RR week and he would refresh his page every like 20 seconds while he's studying, and he like
downloaded a bot.
He downloaded a bot so that every time Best Buy had like stock, he would like get it in like a microsecond. It's so much effort. He doesn't even study that hard.
He doesn't.
And I bet he doesn't work as hard too. So
I mean, like in all fairness, he's a smart guy.
He is.
Like his effort level for things are very varied, right? So like the effort he put into finals, like the effort he put into getting a switch, like the effort he puts into baking a coffee cake. Like it's just like I feel like he needs his priorities a little bit like resorted.
Hey, but I don't know. I've been wanting to get a Switch. Like if the Switch was like PS5, I would put in that much effort to get it too. I don't know. Maybe it's a video game thing. I don't know. That sounds weird. But yeah, definitely stay in school. Study hard. Anyways. No, so you were saying that you are officially going to grad school. Congratulations. And what exactly are you going to be studying?
So I'm going to be studying Masters of Public Administration, which is like, people say it's like the MBA for like the government world.
Okay.
But I don't know exactly what I'm going to do with it. But I'll top myself really quick. It was a full ride. So like I'm not wasting any money. Right. Yeah. So it'll be a good time to like figure things out. And I graduated a little early, like Berkeley wise. So like I think it's like good for me to
that you still have some school experience left.
Yeah.
But now you're gonna root for the other team, you know? Like there's Berkeley, there's Syracuse. Which one's gonna be your
so definitely still Berkeley, because Syracuse's mascot is an orange ball. It's literally Otto the Orange. It's Otto the Orange. It's like orange. It's an orange ball.
So it's even weirder than Oski.
Yeah. It's a little. I don't know how I'm gonna adjust to like the East Coast. I've never lived there. Like I've lived in California my entire life, so
it's gonna be very cold for sure. Like there's gonna be snow.
I know.
That's it. Yeah, and you're gonna have to. I don't know. I've never been to Syracuse, but it's probably a small college town, so it won't be as fun as LA. Probably. I don't know.
I actually
Anyways.
I didn't like LA as much as like I love the Bay Area. Like if there's anywhere that I'd like want to move or settle down, like I would come back here.
The Bay Area?
Yeah, I'm like really a fan.
Really? I don't like the Bay Area that much. I've seen too much weird stuff happening on the BART.
But like I'm not talking Berkeley. I'm not like anywhere. Like it's just a nice vibe. The weather's great.
The weather is great. Yeah.
Yeah. I think LA is too pretentious. Like I just don't.
Okay.
I don't like it.
I actually, LA just has nice weather. I hate the traffic. You know, traffic's a huge deterrent. But anyways. So what do you plan on doing like after you study in grad school? That might be a little far away, but do you have like plans or like stuff you want to pursue?
I don't know what I want for breakfast tomorrow.
What?
Which is like it's like I really don't know. Like I have no idea, bro.
Oh, I'm not asking you about breakfast.
I know, but I don't know like what I want.
Okay.
Like you totally missed it. It was a joke. Was my delivery good?
No, my English is so terrible that I thought you mistook me. That I legit asked you, what do you want for breakfast tomorrow? It should be the greatest podcast. I would live up to the name if I just asked people what they want for breakfast, and we would talk about breakfast for an hour.
That's true. I'd be down. But yeah, I really don't know. Like I think at this point, like the economy is like not looking great. So recruiting is going to be tough. I'm taking my accountant exam, so like my management accounting exam right now. So I'm hoping that like that gives me a little bit of a push, and like if I don't get anything in like the government sector or like nonprofit, that I might look into like just accounting and like let that be my experience. We'll see. Like we really will. We'll see. I'll keep you tuned in. Like you'll know.
But is the first choice gonna be some kind of work in the government?
I would like to, but like at the same time, I kind of wanna branch out. So we'll see. I think I'm just gonna apply everywhere. Like I'm just gonna throw my hat in the ring, and I'm gonna see like if I even like my MPA courses or like the work that other people do. I'm just playing it by ear, as you see.
Gotcha.
I have no idea.
Yeah, as someone who's recruited and found it very difficult, you know, it's always good to like cast your net as wide as possible. Like you wouldn't believe some of the jobs I applied to. Anyways,
let's hear them.
You just gotta apply to everything. I applied to being like a insurance claim agent in Indianapolis, I think. Yeah, with Geico, and on the phone interview, the lady asked me like, "Why do you want to come to Indianapolis? Like you study at Berkeley. Like why do you want to come to Indianapolis?" And I legit couldn't think of a good reason. I was like, I don't know. Like I heard it's a good city.
It's close to Kansas.
It's close to what?
Kansas.
It's close to Kansas? Is it even close to Kansas?
I think so.
Isn't Kansas in Missouri? Is Missouri next to Indiana? I have no clue.
I thought so.
I have no clue.
So I know that like the Indianapolis airport is the same distance from the ORD airport, which is like Chicago's airport, to Urbana-Champaign.
Oh, so it's real close to where you're gonna your family's going to be as well.
Yeah.
So
interesting that geography.
So yeah,
I kind of think of the U.S. as like California, New York, Texas, Florida, and then
everything else. Yeah. Same, exactly. Like I get lost in all the other states. Like all I know is like New York, California. That's it. It's a bad way.
It's like all you really need to know, anyways. It's fine.
That's exactly why Trump won, by the way. So thank you for putting him in the White House. Anyways,
I promise you, I didn't do that.
So yeah, we both graduated early. We both graduated in December at the same time, and I don't know about you, but I felt pretty lucky because I managed to escape from all this insanity that was happening during the school year. And also I attended the December like general commencement. So I got to walk and like put on a robe and all that. Like, what from your point of view, what were the pros and cons of graduating early?
So I wish I had walked.
Yeah, you should have.
I should have, but I was like, why? Nobody's walking that I know. Except obviously you. Okay. But like, it was just you, Anthony, and Jesse. Like,
that is true.
Neither of which are like exclusively like I like know you guys out of extension, right? Yeah. And then I am kind of glad I didn't have to take Zoom classes because that did not sound fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was happy with it. I was like working. I was like enjoying my life.
Okay.
And then it just sucks that we all had to go home because like I really wish that like I could still be here.
You could still be in the Bay. You mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yes, exactly.
Like the only thing that I was going to miss was like the senior like celebrations and like walking with like all of my friends and like everyone I know.
But you were going to come back, right?
I was, yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I was going to give a speech.
I know.
How cool is that going to be if that happened in May? But
when did you find out?
I would say like I want to say like late April, maybe like April, like 420 or something like that.
Oh, 420 you say?
Like close to 420.
Okay.
Yeah. So it was interesting. I had to like submit a video and I had to interview like a panel of like people. So it was a process.
Okay. I actually want to hear about you after graduation. Like how was basic training? Like
you talking about the Army?
Yeah.
It was I thought it was boring but also fun at the same time. Like you meet a lot of people, like you get really close with people in your squad, and it's a really like I don't think there's anything else in my life that's ever gonna be like this, where you meet like such a diverse group of people because everyone has to do it. So when you go in there and you get randomly assigned to a squad, people in your squad, people in your platoon are going to be people that come from all walks of life, like people you never otherwise would have met, like under any circumstances. You know what I mean? And so you hear about their stories and like what they've been doing, what they're going to do, and it's just that is the most interesting part. And besides that,
are they all the same age as you?
So yeah, you can either join like right after you graduate high school or college or like even post-grad. So like I've met people who are like 25, 26, people who are 18, just anywhere in that range, sort of. So it's like we're not all in the same age group. Kind of, but not really. And besides from like meeting people, the other stuff you do are just like basic stuff. Like you like run, you like shoot guns, you like crawl in the mud. That's about it. Like it's just basic stuff, and it's like everyone has to do it, so it's not like crazy intense. So I don't know. I thought it was a good like mental break. Like you don't have your phone. You can't do anything every day. You sleep at the same time. You eat at the same time, and you do the same thing. And so it's I don't know. It's interesting.
Do you have a six-pack?
No, I do not have a six-pack, unfortunately. You still eat pretty well in the Army. It's not like they don't feed you. But yeah, I am working on it. If I ever do get one, I will keep
I'm waiting. Yeah, and I promised you a beer if you do get one. So if you want to cash in on that.
That's so much work for so little reward. One beer.
Two.
Can I have it be like craft beer? Like I don't want like Miller Highlight. You know what I mean? Like
any beer you want.
Wow. Okay, I will take you up on that offer. I'll train hard. Right after this ends, it's planking for the whole day. It's no stopping.
Chloe Ting, 30 days.
It's Chloe Ting. That thing would kill anyone. Like that is so tiring. Like I've tried doing it once, and it's very hard. I don't know. You don't think it is?
It's not that bad.
Really? Okay. Maybe it's because I carry more weight. Could that be reason why? I don't know.
Maybe. I think I'm like superior as a person and just fitter, you know.
just better at doing Chloe Ting workouts. Anyways, the last time I did one was like back in Berkeley, so it's been a while. Maybe it's super easy now.
No, try again.
Try again? I will. I will. So
well, I brought up basic training because I actually applied to the Air Force Academy.
Ooh.
So I almost went there. Like that was my other besides Berkeley.
Okay.
So,
were you like intrigued in like the military lifestyle or not at all? Is that a part you were looking forward to?
I think it was more like free education and like
that helps.
And like it was like it's very like once you get out of it, if you come out with like a certain GPA, like it's so elite, right? Like you think about like how many people graduate from there, and especially like how many people want to continue to study. So I kind of wanted to use it as like a stepping stone for like a graduate study at like maybe an Ivy League, or like that's what I thought I was like doing. Like maybe I was like investing like a certain amount of time there so I could like move forward somewhere else. But I did not plan on being in the military for very long.
But in the Air Force Academy, you still have to like do all that stuff, right? It's kind of like a military style school. Okay.
Yeah, it's basic training. It's West Point, but like the Air Force runs it.
Okay. Did that like turn you off from it? Like, was that a deterrent, or was that like you were like, oh, that might be pretty cool?
So I tend to like overestimate my abilities.
Okay.
Because that's just like how I operate.
Okay.
But
just like the Chloe Ting workouts.
Exactly. I just think I'm so amazing. Like this is how it is.
Yes.
But like I was their like diversity applicant. Like very few like minority or like Indian women even apply. So like they took me out there. Like they were really trying to sell me on the school. Like they flew me out. They held me there. Like gave me food. Like they did the whole shebang. Like really courted me.
Yeah.
But so because they were courting me, like everything seemed really rosy. And like after I talked to like a few people who had like done it and like been in the Air Force, and like it was just like there's such a like strong insistence on like conformity and like
of course.
So you know me, like I'm like the last, like somebody tells me to do something, I'm like fuck you, no, I'm gonna do this. So I just think it like would have been a bad personality match.
Would have been. You would have had a tough time in military then. It is all about conformity. You can't do anything out of line. Like every time, like we spend so much time like lining up before we go anywhere because you have to march in like a certain order.
Right.
Like, you can't just go somewhere. Like you spend so much time like trying to get everyone to be like straight as an arrow, like the lines. It's insane. Anyways, well,
I think it could have been good for me, like discipline-wise, because I could definitely use that in my life. But I think it could have broke me as a person.
You would have just came back standing straight as an arrow.
Yeah.
No curve in your spine.
Is that you? Are you like still very like?
I feel like I've picked up the habit of like waking up earlier. Like, cause in the Army we have to wake up at like 5:30 in the morning. That's not when I wake up now, but like if I never went into the Army, I probably would have woken up every day at like 1 p.m. or like noon or something. But now I wake up at like 7:30 and I feel like fresh, and I don't know. Maybe that is a good thing. But besides from that, not really anything else. You know.
Will you revert? Like, do you think you'll turn back into?
Oh yeah, it's slowly turning back for sure. Okay. Like you'll go back to where you were with time, you know. So I still have a couple months of doing absolutely nothing. So who knows how that would contribute, you know.
Have you heard back from EY?
Yeah. So they said I'm gonna start in September, actually, like the end of September. Like I was gonna start in August, but they pushed me back. So.
Yay!
At least I still have a job. Unlike some people, you know.
I feel so bad for Ryan.
Oh yeah, sure. I feel bad for him too. Like that must suck horribly.
Really hurt.
Yeah, exactly. But he seemed like he was doing okay though. Like he was still I don't know
Yeah.
how he feels inside, you know.
I mean, he's probably
But
very sad.
yeah. But he didn't seem like, you know, he was still upbeat. He's still looking for a job. Like, he's still fighting. So
He'll
that's
be
always good.
okay.
Yeah, I'm sure. Like, he's a Berkeley, like, computer engineer. Like, there's always need for those people. So
100%. He will be okay. It's just, it's gotta suck, you know.
it's just like you just don't have security. Like, that's the bad part. But yeah, I'm gonna start in September. What?
He's cashing on unemployment.
I know. So that would be like a cool life experience. You know.
He's winning.
Yeah. Because he's making more money than I am, and whenever he like does become famous, he can always write in his book that I came from being on the unemployment check to now being this founder of whatever, like a company.
His rags to riches story.
Exactly. Yeah, like that would be a great starting point. Like, everyone needs one, right? So
that's true.
Yeah. So good for him.
Gotta love Ryan.
Good for him. Okay. Anyways, so yeah. So when we were talking about what we wanted to talk about on the podcast, I thought, as someone who went to the U.S. for college and never been to the U.S. Well, I've been to the U.S. before, but never lived there. I wanted to ask your opinion about being a second-generation immigrant, but you told me that you're actually a first-generation immigrant. So, like, like, when did you get to America, and what were the circumstances?
So I got here when I was 5. I'd done like 2 years of school there. So when I got here, I was supposed to start kindergarten, but they wouldn't let me start because like not because I wasn't smart enough. It's like we were reading at a 3rd grade level just because like schooling is more advanced there than it is here.
Yeah.
But like apparently my social skills were like not up to par. Yeah. So like, that was the issue.
Okay.
So then my parents had to like keep me back for a year and like wait for me to like learn English and like how to interact with other students and like all of that stuff.
Yes.
So we did that, and then I think like because I was like 5 and very young, I like don't have an accent because I learned English here.
Yeah.
Like my brother was like very young too, so like it's like I grew up here. It's not a big deal.
Gotcha.
I think like the only difference is like family wise is like my parents are a lot more traditional, and like I remember like when we were kids, like we essentially like all learned, like my parents knew English, like working English, and like I was learning English, but like if sometimes I would get like a form home from school, like if there was like a word that like we didn't know, like we would all like sit down and like look it up in the dictionary. So it was like I like kind of grew up a little bit more like taking on like responsibilities for like helping my parents like learn English, or like if they didn't understand like a social custom or like whatever it is. I think that was like the only difference that like I really see even now. But like everything else is the same. Like I grew up here. Like you probably know how easy it is to like assimilate.
Did you just ask me how easy it was to assimilate?
Yeah, like it's pretty easy to assimilate, right?
I didn't think it was that easy. I had a tough time like freshman year, because I came like I've never had a class taught in like full English. I've never had to write like papers, so that was the hard part. Like, I don't know, like writing papers, reading was very difficult. Like it was, yeah. Go ahead.
So you also came here at like an older age than like I did, right? So like
that is true.
all I've ever known is like basically America.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like the older you get, the harder it is. But like
I'm sure.
Personally, it was easy, but like I think family is like it's still like it's like I'm not 100% like here, and I'm like not 100% there.
Yeah, but so I feel like that's a good balance, right? You still want some of your like traditional roots sort of somewhere in the family, right?
Oh yeah, 100%. It's just like it's like balancing like the two. Is just sometimes it becomes like a struggle, but it's like I think I had it easier than like most people did, so not even.
Okay. Okay. Well, like did you learn English like back in India before you came here, or was that not really?
So like I went to like a private school because like
Yeah.
my parents knew that like we were gonna come here. So I definitely had like taken English classes, but like at the age of 5, like you really don't like know English. So like the English I learned was like the English I learned when I got here. So like
Gotcha.
we used to watch a lot of like Disney Channel like kids shows, and like our entire family would like watch them, and like that's like how we learned like social norms, and
Really?
that's our majority of the working knowledge that we had for like I guess like sarcasm or like tones of
Yeah.
voices or like
Yeah.
things like that that you like don't learn on a textbook. Like
Yeah.
we learned through like movies and shows and like
Yeah.
all of that.
Like Sweet Life, Zach and Cody, stuff like that.
I love that show so much.
I used to watch that show a lot.
Yeah, I made Arjun watch it for like the very first time, and he was like, I was laughing throughout the entire episode, and he was like not having a bop, and I was like, Esteban is like my favorite
I love
character.
Mr. Is Mosby? Mr.
Yeah,
Mosby.
yeah, Mr. Mosby, and then the
So
Prindle. I used to
yeah,
love that show.
we had like Chinese dubbed version. Like we would have like all these shows, but they would be dubbed in Chinese. So I used to
Yeah.
watch that show in Chinese. So that was yeah. Go ahead.
So I was gonna say, fun fact, like Disney Channel in India, they created like the same shows with like Indian characters and then
Really?
like yeah. So like if you look up like Karan and Kabir, it's like there's a Sweet Life of Karan and Kabir instead of Sweet Life of Zach and Cody.
Wow, that is so
Yeah.
funny.
And like it's for every show. So like you remember like Jessie? Like they have like a different one. Or like Good Luck Charlie, they had like another one for that.
Really?
Like they have like all these shows. It's crazy.
So much effort on their part.
It is, but it's like the same script. So like if I'm watching it, like I know exactly what's gonna happen next because it's like the same script just in Hindi.
But would they switch out like the settings or like whatever, the food, stuff like that with like Indian stuff?
Yeah, so I think like food, I can't remember an episode where like there was a concentration on food.
Yeah.
Like the cake was still cake when like Cody decided to bake, but like they tried to keep the set as like similar as possible. So like the Tipton looked like very similar to the actual Tipton, and like the uniforms were sort of the same, but like and like the sass and sarcasm, like all of that just translated into Hindi.
Yeah,
so
that was
really funny.
Yeah. So yeah, we don't have that kind of level of effort. We just dub it in Chinese. But yeah, that was a very weird part because like I remember in college, especially freshman year, people would always talk about like, oh, they start talking about some cartoon they all watched, and I would have watched the same cartoon. I just wouldn't understand what characters they were referring to because I don't know like their English names. Like I used to love watching SpongeBob, but I didn't know like any of the lines they were talking about because I watched it all in Chinese. Like I still have a full box set at home.
So what's SpongeBob's Chinese name?
It's Hai Mian Bao Bao.
What does that translate to?
It means sponge baby.
Oh, what about Patrick?
Pai Da Xing, which means like pat, like it's a sound like Pat the star or something like that. Like it's very similar.
Cool.
Yeah,
that's really cool, actually.
Yeah, I know, and like we would dub the theme songs as well, so I know how to sing like the theme songs, but just in Chinese. And there would be songs where I don't know the English versions of.
Okay.
Like
Who lives in a pineapple under the sea? Like, what does that translate
to? In Chinese, it's 谁住在深海的大风里, which means who lives in a big pineapple under the sea. Like it's basically the same thing, but it's just
really
translated
cool.
to Chinese. I know. So.
So was it the same? Is this just dubbed? So it was like the same screen, just like different voiceovers.
Exactly. Yeah. Same screen, just different voiceovers, and it was really popular when I was a kid. So I would watch it all the time.
Wait, so now I'm like really curious to like understand how you assimilated in college.
Yeah. What part?
Like, where did you live in the same dorm that they did? Like
Oh,
Ryan and
no.
Anthony?
No, but I lived in Unit 3 Norton,
Mhm.
which is, no, I think they lived in like Unit 2 or something like that. Anyways.
Yeah, they lived in Griffith, I
Yeah,
think.
yeah. So I lived in Unit 3 Norton, and I lived in a triple, and I thought, I don't know, like on the academics front, like it was pretty hard because like the whole English thing, like any class that didn't involve
Yeah.
as much English was easier for me. So like
Mhm.
I had a tough time in like English
Math.
R1A, R1B because like
Yeah.
there's a lot of reading. Like I don't read as fast, and I have to like write papers. I've like never done
Right.
that, so that was hard. Um, and I remember a class that was really giving me trouble was MCB 32. Anyways, it was like,
Why did you take MCB? You're a business
yeah.
major, no?
So when I was trying, it was for my like bio breath. Like I couldn't find a class that had
Oh.
like an open seat, so I thought it's
Mhm.
like easy or whatever. I thought I had a great like a good GPA average, so I signed up for that class, and it was about physiology. So it's about like very basic stuff. Like it's like
Mhm.
the mitochondria is like the powerhouse of the cell, like
Okay.
stuff like that, right? Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It's like stuff like that. But I learned biology in Chinese. So I had a lot of trouble with the words, like
Mhm.
mitochondria. Like I know exactly what it is,
What it
but at the
is.
same time, I don't know that it means the thing in Chinese. You know what I mean? Like, so I
Yeah.
spent a lot of time like memorizing the words, like the specific words about like parts of your cell, parts of your body, even though I already knew like all the
Mhm.
underlying principles.
Yeah.
So
Wait,
that was that was
that's like really interesting. So you
yeah.
had to work 10 times harder for like a
I
certain
wouldn't say
thing.
that.
I mean, think about it. Like you really were learning the language as you were learning the subject. Like that's not.
Yeah. Like my English was already like pretty good. I can communicate
Yeah,
no
yeah.
problem. I can read and write. But it's
But
just
like
like
the
stuff like
word,
that.
but
Exactly.
like the working language of English is different
Exactly.
than like the
Like
using language.
there would be stuff that you never thought of, little stuff that you figure out that you're actually not that good at that part. Like
Yeah.
one thing that I still struggled till this day is actually like sounding out numbers. Like I
Mhm.
remember going to like case interviews when I was a freshman, like applying for clubs. There would be like questions about, oh, estimate like how many people is in the U.S. And I would know that number in like Chinese
300.
or
Yeah.
like in number form, but I just didn't know how to say it. Like it takes me time to like translate it to English
Oh,
because the
yeah.
way English does it is like different than the way Chinese does it, like in terms of
They
how you
like
progress through the
yeah.
like the noun of the numbers. So that takes me time. So sometimes it's like in especially in case interviews, like I can't say it as
Yeah.
fast, and it seems like
Right.
I'm like
Yeah.
I don't know the
Laggy.
number, even though I know the number. I just need time.
Mhm.
But stuff like that.
That's like
You
really
know?
interesting to hear because like
Yeah.
you explaining it to me like makes me think about like certain things that like my parents like sometimes they wait before they say things and like
Hmm.
I guess I never really understood the fact that like when they're thinking about it like in India like a lakh and
Hmm.
then they like move up from there so like a lakh is a unit of measurement it's like a
Hmm.
million or like 1,000 and like that's how they like think about numbers. Meanwhile, like we think about numbers in like thousands and millions and
Millions,
hundreds.
exactly.
Yeah.
That is actually a part where I feel like it's very hard to like switch over. Like I basically I'm like as fluent in English as anyone can be.
You are, and you
Exactly.
like don't
So
have an accent at all.
exactly. But it's still very hard for me to translate numbers. Like it's just I don't know. Like it's the way you think starting as a child. So that
Yeah.
particular point is really hard. Like it takes me time. I have to like
This,
think about
this is really interesting.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So I count
So
it up in like Chinese and stuff like that. So it's hard.
do you like think in English?
I think in
'Cause, like
both languages.
so yeah, like I'm also like bilingual and I think
Yeah.
like I think in like my home language.
Hmm.
I
I
don't really think in English.
I feel like I think in both. Like it depends on what situation I'm in.
Hmm.
I don't know.
What about dreams?
Dreams. I feel like by now most of my dreams are in English. I don't know why.
Hmm.
Interesting. I don't know. Huh.
Do you guys speak English at home?
A little bit, not a whole lot, just like here and there. It's not
So,
like
like,
how we communicate.
oh, because like growing up, like it was
Yeah.
like we were not allowed to speak English at home because my mom wanted to really learn the language. So she like
Oh,
insisted, because she's like, you'll learn English in school, but like unless we teach you, like you won't learn it. So
that is
just
actually a
growing,
very good point. Yeah, there's so many
yeah.
people that I know at Berkeley that like doesn't understand a lick of like what their parents might view as their language. So
Yeah.
that's good on your mom's part, I guess. Like, you learned
But yeah.
English just fine, right? It's not like you.
Cause you have to, right? Like especially when you go
Exactly.
to school, like you figure it out. But that's
Yeah,
interesting.
I
What
know.
about like socially? Like how did you like you listen to country music and like
Yeah.
like love monster trucks? Like I don't know like how you managed to.
I mean, socially, like you said, like I took a lot of time to like invest it in like American culture because I feel like that was my way of trying to assimilate. Like I would just watch like American shows.
Football
Yeah,
and
I would watch
basketball.
shows. Like anything I thought was like American, I would be like, oh, I want to watch that and I want to understand it. And so
Yeah.
like it made to a, it's to a point where right now I feel like I know more about like American pop culture than a lot of my
You know
friends.
more about American pop culture than I do. Like I promise
Exactly.
you.
So it's a sort of an overcorrection, and I don't know.
Overcompensation.
It's still weird. Like in terms of the social aspects of it, I don't know. Like, do you feel like it's harder for like I don't know. How do you see like international students? If someone before you know them and they say they're an international student, like how do you view that interaction? Like, isn't it different? Like how? Yeah.
It's like I think a lot of the bias towards international kids comes from like when you talk to them. It's not like if I knew you were international, I wouldn't have a bias towards you.
Yeah.
It's just like speaking to you, like you knew more about like American football, basketball, like movies, country music. Like you had the whole shebang going for you. Like
Exactly.
I would not have really guessed. Like I didn't know until after like I found out.
Yeah.
Um, and then like my freshman year roommate, she was also international. I think she was from China. And
Mm.
like she was like, I don't want to say like she didn't try to assimilate, but she really didn't.
Yeah.
Right? Like so she would like buy food from like Asian grocery stores and like eat that at home, and like she like had a very hard time like she like you said, like she was a math major. So
Yeah.
sometimes she would like ask me for help with like English things. Her boyfriend would come over and they would always be talking in like Mandarin.
Yeah.
And like it was just like she really didn't like make the effort that like I felt like you made, which
Yeah.
made it seem like I didn't want to like I couldn't try and be friends with her just
Yeah.
because like she didn't want to.
Yeah.
And
I
then
totally understand that, and I see that a
and then
lot. You know, sometimes
yeah.
the default state is just to sort of shell up and just find like people from the same background as you and just you know
Yeah.
be with them or whatever. But yeah.
I'm gonna be honest, I like have 10 times more respect for you like this podcast. Like I
Really?
never really thought
Wow.
about it. I actually do. I think it's pretty cool what you did.
Wow. No, but I don't know. I think it's interesting being an international student. There's a lot of stuff that you sort of learn. Like I used to be very proud of the fact that I was an international student. Like I thought Berkeley wanted like international kids. So
Right.
when I first got there, when I was applying for clubs, you know how you need to write like essays and stuff like that?
Right.
I would always start off with like, oh, I'm international, so I can help the club like bring in like a sense of diversity or whatever. Like I bring in a different point of view and stuff like that. And I just keep getting rejected until like I asked some of my friends and they were like, you probably shouldn't put that because if you put that, they'll think like, oh, you don't know how to speak English. Like it's going to be hard to communicate with you and stuff like that, right? So there's interesting stuff like that. But
I like also think that the bias towards international kids also comes from like most of them tend to be wealthier. So
yeah,
like I know a lot of people like especially in like ISA like
yeah,
there's like a certain level of like pride and ignorance that comes with like the level of wealth that like exists.
yeah,
And like that is like a little bit more my bias. Like my roommate was like she was telling me about her family and they own like hotel chains. And I remember like this one summer day, it was like super hot. So like we would like prop open the door. So I always used to put like a chair or a doorstop. Yeah. And like this one time I like walked in and she had put her like Gucci purse, like which was probably like worth more than my entire wardrobe.
Yeah.
Just like there. And I was just like a little bit floored at the audacity of just like leaving it there. And then whenever she would go home, she would always be ordering like boxes of like, well, I don't even know the names, like Burberry and like random like expensive brands of shit. Yeah. And it's just like, it was a little bit like I didn't relate to that because like I didn't we grew up middle class, like Burberry, like what? Like you mean blueberry? Like I don't fucking know.
I understand. There's a certain gap there. Like I feel like it is true that most international students are like wealthier for sure.
Yeah.
Because you can't study abroad if you don't have some sort of an economic, background to lean on, right?
And like you don't come off as like ignorant or like prideful or like anything. Oh yes, you're welcome. You really are.
Wow, that's high praise. Anyways, I feel like this podcast has been just me complaining about being international. So let's move on.
Sure, I enjoyed it. I liked this topic. It was pleasant.
It is interesting, I guess. The experience.
One last question.
Yes.
One last question.
Go ahead.
Like, are you like? How long did it take actually to? And like, are you happy you did it?
Like studying at Berkeley?
Yeah. Like.
Oh, yeah.
That wasn't home.
Yeah. So I'm very happy I did it. I think it's taught me a lot, and like plus I've always wanted to like work in the U.S. So like obviously this is like the stepping stone to that. So I don't regret it at one bit. Like it's it took me like I would say like a semester to like get into like a better place, I'd say.
Did you resent it in the beginning?
Resent it? Not really. There would just be points where I'm like, you know what, like this is so like it's just harder than it needs to be, like whatever. Like I don't know. But I thankfully had like really good roommates. So like for like first semester freshman year, like it's just hard for me to like branch out and make friends, but I had friends like in the dorms. It's like it wasn't that hard. Like it would always come back to like a friendly space. I actually think that helped me out a lot. So
do I know any of your freshman friends?
I don't think you do. I don't think so. I met Jesse, English R1A, actually. My first ever class at Berkeley. So you should ask him how I did in that class.
Okay. I haven't gotten the gang hasn't really gotten all that together yet.
I'm sure. It's hard. I don't even know what he's doing. Anyways, but yeah, it took me like a semester to really like get it going. But after that, it was like way easier. And it wasn't that hard. Like by the time like sophomore year came around, and I loved it. I couldn't complain about the experience.
If it's like any consolation, like my first year was like terrible too. Like I had a hard time. Like I just didn't like. I wanted to go home. Like I resisted living alone. Like I missed my family. I wanted my old friends back. Like it just wasn't like all that I thought it was going to be. And like it took work to like make friends and classes and all that.
Yeah.
Stuff. But
it's definitely hard for like all the freshmen. Like it's a phase that everyone goes through, right? It's like moving out from home and stuff like that. So, it's about the same as anyone. I miss home, blah, blah, blah. But wow, something just got real bright. Are you like watching a video in the background?
No.
Like browsing YouTube?
You got boring. Like you.
Okay.
Anymore.
That's what I'm saying. We should move on from this.
No
one
kidding.
wants to hear me.
I was actually looking at our doc of topics.
You felt the conversation is coming to an end. Anyways.
No, I wanted to like transition it smoothly. I was trying to help.
Well, you could have made it less obvious. That's all
I didn't know
say.
how to. I like tried to keep my face straight.
It got like
and,
real bright.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, so yeah, let's get into the real part of our podcast, which we've been talking for a while now. But anyways, so I introduced you to a Taiwanese movie, and I wanted you to watch it and tell me what you thought of it, and ask me any questions you might have, and I'll do the same for a movie that you you introduced me to. So I'll hand it over to you.
I'm gonna look at my notes now. I'm listening to you, I swear. So what, like, you wrote, I'm looking at your notes first. You wrote like driving school. Is that like something that's like a big thing? Like, do people want to learn how to drive?
Oh yeah,
like,
for sure.
I don't understand. Like, why did you write that?
Yeah. So just for a bit of context, the movie's called A Son. It's on Netflix, and there's a part where the dad is a driving school coach. So in Taiwan, if you want to get a license, you have to go to driving school. Like, you have to complete certain hours at a driving school. Does that make sense?
Okay, that's like what you have to do here too. So.
Yeah. So it's basically like that, but in Taiwan, like, the testing routes are like, it's like a course. So you just practice the course. Like, you don't go out and drive in the real world. You just sort of practice the course every day. And so yeah, I went to like an exact, like, all driving schools look alike. Like, they all have the, like, basically the same cars, same color scheme. So just kind of, when I saw it, I was just like, oh, that looks exactly like the one I went to. That's it.
Is it like, I know that in the beginning, like, he kept failing because he tried to do like an automatic or like a manual car. So like, at least in India, like, the manual is still very common. Like, is that the same thing for you guys?
No, manuals are not like really common in Taiwan, and you can choose to like take a test with a manual car if you want to, but you can also take it with the automatic one, and it's just easier to do it with the automatic.
Okay, and then cram school is probably like tutoring sessions, I'm guessing.
Yeah. So there's a scene where the brother, he like woke up. He was like in a classroom where there's like like rows of students. That's like a cram school. Like, it's like an after school. So like,
is it because like the actual education system is like
not really, but it's just like we have to take like tests to get into college, like one test, and that decides where you go to college. So like
the SAT.
The SAT kinda, but not exactly. Like, it's like way heavier than the SAT.
So like in India, they have like the 11th grade board exams.
Yeah.
So like, if you score a certain score, then you can get into was it sort of like that?
Yeah, it's sort of like that. Exactly.
That makes sense.
So there would be like these cram schools like you go to after school, and it would look exactly like the one shown in the movie where everyone would be packed so tight, and it's just like in one room, and you all come from like different high schools. After school, you go to the same place, and you just study.
Is that why it's called cram school? Or is
exactly.
It called
it's called a cram school. You just cram.
I thought it was like cramming your head.
It's sort of kind of the same idea. It's like you cram the subject. It's like, I don't know.
And cram people into the same room.
Oh, no. I don't think it's meant to describe the people. It's more like studying. That makes sense. Yeah.
Okay.
So.
And then, are abortions legal there? Like, when she was 15.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it is legal.
Is it like a contentious issue like it is here?
It is, but not to the level of like in America. I feel like people basically agree that it's legal, because like we don't have that many Christians. Like they think it's illegal, but like we don't have that many, so it's not really illegal.
What is the religious like dominance?
It's like Buddhism crossed with some like traditional gods. So you know.
So are you like religious at all?
I just follow whatever my family's following. So like the traditional religion, I don't really have I'm not like strongly religious.
So like, is like, are
Kind
there
of.
like certain customs or like?
Yeah. Like I
festivals?
go to like temples and like burn incense, stuff like that.
Incense. Don't
Incense.
say.
Oh
Don't say
yeah. I
incest.
know that came off real wrong. Yeah. Incense. That's what
I
I.
love that. Okay. And then who is Sima Wong?
Yeah. So that's really interesting. So he's like ancient Chinese author. He would be like, I don't know, like a Robert Frost or something like that, like some like ancient poem. And he has a real famous story about how he was playing like hide and seek with a bunch of kids, and so he was basically about how he was so smart that he realized a kid was missing, and he broke like a jar of water, and the kid was like drowning in it, so he like saved the kid.
Yeah, so that story was in the movie.
Exactly. So so that was the real story, and it was about how like he was very smart, and he like immediately figured out the kid was probably drowning, and so he like saved the kid. Yeah.
Oh
so
wow.
It's just some like ancient author.
And then sibling rivalry. So you have a brother, like younger brother?
Yes.
How old is he?
He's 16.
Oh, okay.
So he's
a
studying.
lot younger than you.
Exactly. So yeah, he's studying to go to college right now. So we'll see how that goes.
He's got this. I mean, he's got big shoes to fill. Mr. Haas Commencement Speech.
Okay. Yep.
I don't know. I was listening to the sibling like the difference, like how the younger felt and how the like older one felt, and I think like kind of reminded me of like my brother and like our relationship, and like
for sure.
It was just interesting.
How did you like the movie though?
I thought it was good.
Yeah.
I just think it was like, so Arjun will tell you this, but like I serially fall asleep during movies. Like it's just my
gotcha.
Like it's just like my I'm just so tired when I'm watching.
A little too long.
Yeah, so like I just like I had to like split it up.
Gotcha.
And
no problem.
And it's like it also like I felt like I was like when I was like trying to like watch it like took me that much more effort to like I had to like watch for like body like movement scenes.
Gotcha.
And, like, it was like very like dialogue heavy, right? So like it wasn't like Parasite, which like it was a little bit easier to like follow along even with subtitles just because it wasn't like dialogue heavy. And here I feel like if I understood the language, I would have gotten like the depth of the movie a little bit more.
Yeah.
That's but fine. You tailored it. I love family dramas. Like that's my thing.
There we go. And I now a good segue to the movie you introduced me to, which was called, how do you even pronounce it? Dangal.
Yeah.
Yeah. So first of all, why did you think I liked that movie? Was it the wrestling or was it the naked men?
Yeah. So when you said suggesting indie movie, the first thing I like the most prominent part of your personality, I guess, in my brain is like wrestling, and that's the first thing I thought of.
Wow. Okay. It was a good movie though. I enjoyed the wrestling part of it. I was like, oh, that's a good technique and stuff like that. So
yeah, I thought you would. I thought you'd like it because a lot of indie movies are more like they're either romance or they're like family dramas, and like that's just like what they do. And I didn't think that you would really like vibe with that as hard as you would like this.
No, I really enjoyed it. And is wrestling like really popular in India? It made it seem like it is.
I think it's a national sport.
Okay.
No, that's field hockey. Never mind. But like, I think India's won a few Olympic gold medals in wrestling.
Okay. So that's
it is popular. Yeah. So wrestling and like field hockey and cricket are like the sports people do.
And so what's interesting about this movie was that it was actually like pretty popular in Taiwan too at a certain point. Like I heard news about the movie, and when I was watching it, my dad was like, "Oh, like my family actually seen the movie before. Like they've seen it somewhere, like on a DVD or something." So it was so it was a popular movie. It's pretty good, and it's pretty much. I feel like it's a little bit made for like a wider audience, so I don't really think there's a lot of like more traditional stuff happening. But I do have one question. Like, what does like Dangal mean?
It means to fight.
Dangal means a fight.
Yeah, it's like to wrestle. Essentially, I think that's like the translation.
Gotcha. So in Chinese, I think the movie title was translated to like me and my like champion daughter. Like that was like the Chinese version of the movie. That was what it's called. But
that was like the theme of the movie.
Yeah, that was the theme of the movie. And I did notice that a lot of the women in the movie wore like head garbs of some sort. Like, so what are those? Like,
they like put them over their head.
Yeah.
So it's like when Indian women wear a sari, like in the olden days, like the sign of respect was like you weren't. I kind of want to like explain it like a burqa, but like it was a sign of respect to like not show people your face, like besides your husband or like your immediate family, and like that's just how you walked out. And like my grandma used to tell me like she had to wear it like down to here, and then eventually like moved here, and then like here, and now people just don't wear it. But like it's like covering your head is a sign of respect, kind of like how they wear like the Jewish people wear the yarmulkes.
Yeah, with the yarmulkes, it's like kind of the same thing. Okay.
Yeah.
Like, do people in your family still do that?
So if you go to a temple, it's like traditionally you're supposed to, like my mom, like nobody in my like immediate family really does it, but like if we go somewhere, like I think even there's like temples in America that I've been to where like you can't enter without covering your head. So like as a kid, like I would just wear my hood. And like I'd walk like a gangster.
All right. Well, that's basically the questions I have about the movie. I liked it though. So
it's a good movie. What fried balls are you talking about?
Oh yeah. So there was one point where they the dad was like, "Oh, this is the last time you'll indulge," and they ate like these like fried like dough like donut holes kind of. I don't know. There's like a big mountain of it.
Was it pani puri? Like was it like they were dipping it in water? I don't remember this.
No. It was not in water. It was like it looked like a donut hole. I don't know.
So do you know what hush puppies are?
Yes.
I think it's like the Indian word version of like a hush puppy.
Okay.
And like I know like Arjun loves chai. Like that's traditionally what you eat with chai.
Okay. Interesting.
Well,
it's sweet, right?
It's not. It's spicy. So very few things. Okay. Yeah. Oh, so maybe it was a lot. I don't know what the scene is, but like if you like ever come visit me, I will make you chai, and bhajia is what it's called, like pakoras. But if it was the other sweet version of this, it was a laddu. Yeah.
I don't know what that is. You're rattling off nouns that don't register with me at all.
Derek, just come visit me and
I will. Take you. Are you talking about in Urbana-Champaign?
Honestly, literally anywhere.
Or Syracuse.
Urbana-Champaign, Syracuse, anywhere.
Okay. I will make that trip.
Or I'll visit you in SF.
So. For sure. I feel like that's a better option.
I think so. Have you found apartments and stuff? Like, what are you gonna do?
No. So I have a couple friends that were looking for apartments together, but it's still so far from my start date that I don't feel like looking right now would worth anything, because like you can't sign a lease right now, obviously, so it's no point.
So like, are you living with like Corey and like?
I'm living with not Corey. I might be living with Yusuf. I was gonna live with Dom. I don't know. That kind of fell through.
Why does that name sound so familiar, Yusuf?
Yeah, he's the other part of our freshman friend. It's Corey and Yusuf. Okay. He's like my other roommate. Anyways.
So you might be living with Dom, you said?
I might.
So I'm definitely gonna visit you now.
Yes, you're more than welcome. You're more than welcome to visit the apartment if we get one in time. But anyways, all right. Well, I feel like that's all the time we have. I don't want it to be like too super long, but I do feel like we have like some more stuff to discuss. Like I wanted to talk about the whole unrest in America that's going on, and we didn't get to cover that. So Hopefully
Okay.
you'll come on some other time.
Of course I will.
That sound good?
Part two.
All right. Yeah, I feel like the whole like movie exchange thing was kind of pointless.
No, it wasn't.
Yeah, I just saw some good movies. Yeah. But
yeah, you did. And like I would have never watched The Sun without like if I hadn't had to. So yeah.
Okay. Maybe we'll do it again. Maybe.
We should. It'll be fun. And like if you made an effort to like be friends with me,
wow. Throw shade.
Just a little bit.
You didn't even tell me you were moving, so thanks a lot.
You're right. It's both ways. Okay. We'll make it work.
All right, so part 2 coming soon. But thank you for coming on.
No, thank you.
All right. Congratulations. You've made it through the video. Now, go subscribe to all the links down below, comment, and hit that like button, and I will see you all in the next one.